everyone. This is becoming a habit. I'd like to say it's a pleasant habit, but the content of these streams never gets any better, quite honestly. And I say that with all sincerity. So there's about 5 million channels streaming at the moment, so I'm guessing that the numbers will be I can't even speak. The numbers will be quite low, but that's fine. That's all right. The press conference doesn't start for another hour, so if you want to leave and come back later, that's absolutely fine. I've got the stream, or at least the scheduler for the stream, that's being live streamed by the University of Idaho. I've got that up in the background, so at least it's not one of those where you have to scrabble around trying to find which news channel is streaming it. The University of Idaho has a YouTube channel and they are live streaming it. So it starts 11 p.m. my time, 3 p.m. Pacific time. The reason why I've started this an hour early is it gives people the opportunity to catch up. It gives me the opportunity to go over the information that I talked about this morning on my live. I did that over on my other channel, Michelle Walks. So some of you might have missed it because some of you aren't subscribed to that channel for whatever reason. People watch this channel religiously, but then don't subscribe to Michelle Walks. I don't know. I don't ask. I don't know why. So there was some really important updates that I talked about over on that live this morning. So I want to go over that again before the press conference so that everybody's up to speed on what law enforcement have said. And I do keep saying this. And I know this is only is this the third live I've done on this case? But I say this for every single case that, you know, where there's law enforcement updates, it's early on in the case and law enforcement are giving frequent updates, then listen to the law enforcement updates before everything else. And I know the families are speaking out, and Maddie's family have spoke out today and given quite a long interview with Fox News. So I'll share that. I'm not going to share the whole of that because Fox News copyright claims, and what will happen is I'll have to take it out of the replay anyway. So I don't want to have to take out a big chunk of this live, and it will take up time anyway. So I'll just leave a link to that if you want to go and watch it. I'll play like a couple of minutes of it, and that's all. So let's start with the updates from this morning. So it was kind of overnight my time that Moscow police gave an update. Michelle hasn't even uploaded it to the old stream here. So here we go. I've got it. All right. So I thought I was prepared, but no, not prepared at all. All right. Might as well just share my entire screen. Be easier. Okay. So, oh, you've just got on from work, Marianne. Just got on from work, so I was watching the previous live. Was only halfway through. Thanks for doing a review. Yeah. Well, it will save y'all. I mean, go and watch that live anyway. I'm not going to go through every single thing that we talked about. I'm just going to go over this update, and then there's a few things I want to show you that I found today on the World Wide Web. All right, so I'll read that clarification afterwards. Well, when I get to it. So this was posted yesterday, 6:15 p.m. Pacific time. So it was in the night time for me. But when I woke up, it was brand new. Okay, so the Moscow Police Department is providing the following information to update the public on the known facts surrounding the 4 murders that occurred on November 13th in Moscow, Idaho. So this is the updated information. So updated from what they previously said. So if you're brand new to this case, absolutely brand new, then this isn't taking the information all the way back to the beginning. I do have a live over on Michelle Walks that goes through everything we knew up to the point of that live. So I think that was on the 18th. I think that was everything we knew up to that point. And I tried to cover everything that law enforcement had given us and some stuff that had come out on the internet. So if you're completely confused and you're brand new to this case and this is the first video you've seen, then some of this isn't going to make sense. But, you know, obviously, I guess if you've clicked on this, you're not brand new. But this is the updated information as of yesterday. So at this time, detectives have investigated the private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home on November 13th. They do not believe he's involved in the crime. So the cab driver, taxi driver, was originally said to be an Uber driver, but it's turned out that it's some kind of private cab. I don't know what private party means. Just somebody gave him a lift, right? That person is not being considered involved. The previous update to this one, they'd said that they didn't think the roommates were involved, and they also didn't think that hoodie guy, the guy that spoke to them at the grub truck, the food stall place where they went to about 1:40 a.m., he's not thought to have been involved. So presumably they've traced the cab driver, they've traced hoodie guy, and they've interviewed them, I assume, but they're not thought to be involved. Detectives believe that on November 12th, the 2 surviving roommates had been out in the Moscow community separately, but returned home by 1 a.m. The 2 did not wake up until later on November 13th. So they slept all the way through it. They didn't hear a thing, which is suspicious to some. Yes, Spruce, it is indeed 3 p.m. Pacific. I assume that's 6 p.m. EST. Work it out. It's on the banner running along the bottom, the time it starts. So initially, the 911 calls made at 11:58 a.m. on November 13th requested aid for an unconscious person. The call was made from inside the residence on one of the roommates' cell phones. That literally blew my mind. When I read that, that blew my mind. Thank you, Starkia Rottweilers, for the 10 Australian dollars. I'm seriously amazing. I live for your videos. Thank you for everything you do, from one dog lover to another. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. That honestly blew my mind. Blew my mind. So they don't think that the roommates are involved, the 2 surviving ones, but the call, the 911 call, was made from one of their phones from inside the residence. So presumably they've been able to ping that phone, that time that call was made, inside the residence. So who made that call? But they're not releasing who made that call. Dylan and Bethany are the 2 surviving roommates. I like the morning. The names are out there. The names are all over the media now, so I think we can call them by the names. They're adults anyway. They're not suspects. Law enforcement have said they don't consider them involved. So let's keep Dylan and Bethany in our thoughts. They must be utterly traumatized by what has happened. They must be absolutely traumatized by what has happened. So let's not go after them. But yeah, Dylan and Bethany are the surviving roommates. So, Moscow Police Department arrived shortly after and found all 4 victims. Detectives confirmed the victims were located on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the residence. So we'll go over the residence again as well, because that's confusing a lot of people. I'm just trying to mop up some of the things that are confusing people, so that everybody's kind of clear. And then whatever they're going to tell us at the press conference, you know, I have no idea what they're going to tell us at the press conference. I'm guessing there's a lot they can't tell us still. Detectives are aware of multiple phone calls from victims, Madison and Kaylee, to a male. This information is part of the ongoing investigation. Now, the family, Kaylee's family, have spoken out, and they say that Kaylee and Maddie were trying to contact Jack. Now, this Jack is Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. They were kind of in the process of getting back together, according to Kaylee's mother. They were just kind of on a break, you know. They've been together quite a while. Obviously, they're only young. They've been together quite a while. They were on a break. They were in the process of getting back together. Kaylee's dog was kind of his dog. They shared custody of the dog. And they said that they are 2,000% confident that Jack is not the killer. Now, law enforcement have not come out and cleared Jack. As of yesterday, the information was still part of the ongoing investigation, but the family are saying that they're standing by Jack. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one. I've got a photo of Jack. There is a photo of Jack circulating. I'm not going to put it up today. It's not difficult to find. I'm sure other channels are sharing it. I'm not at this moment in time, whilst that part of the investigation is still ongoing, simply because people are people. The internet's wild. People go after him. For me, it doesn't look like a killer. And you're going to say, Michelle, what does a killer look like? Yeah, I get you. It just, to me, doesn't look like somebody who could stab to death, so much so that it's an absolute bloodbath, 4 people, including his ex-girlfriend, who he's still very close with. Why they were trying to get to speak to Jack, who knows? But the family say, Kaylee's family say, Jack was asleep. Yes, Lotus Flower, Jack, the ex. The family believe that's who Kaylee and Maddie were trying to contact. Now, they were all good friends. Kaylee and Jack grew up together. They were childhood sweethearts. And Maddie and Kaylee grew up from like being little girls. When each family went on vacation, they'd take the other one with them. So Maddie's, I think, an only child, but Kaylee comes from a large family. Like, there's several brothers and sisters. I think there's 4 sisters and 1 brother. I think that's it. Maddie was just considered another sister. The dog was in the home. The dog was not injured. The dog was fine. So Maddie and Kaylee were very, very close, grew up together since they were little girls, and they'd known Jack for a long time. So why they were calling Jack, maybe they just wanted a drunken chat, who knows? But what we know from this moment in time is that as far as law enforcement are concerned, that information was ongoing as of yesterday, but the family are standing by Jack. Detectives are seeking all outside surveillance video taken from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Sunday, November 13th from businesses and residents within the geographical area. Detectives are requesting all available video. So you can send videos, even if you don't think it's important. There's a geographical map down here, which won't mean a lot unless you're right directly in the area. But if you're in that zone, then if you've got a Ring camera or dash cam footage, anything at all, whether you're a business or a private residence, please do turn it in to tipline at ci.moscow.id.us or call the tip line at 208 883-7180. And then those are the kind of the boundaries of the area that they're particularly interested in, wanting surveillance video from. Now, there was a clarification that they put on a couple of hours after that post, saying the cell phone used to call 911 belonged to one of the surviving roommates, but due to the ongoing investigation, the ID of the caller has not been released. Yes, Sean, each girl was in a separate room, yes. I'm going to go through the residents because I think this is really, really important information. People are not understanding that kind of the residents and the makeup of the residents and who was living at the residence and so on. So that was the update. Sasha, member for 9 months. To our fabulous Michelle and Furberries, thank you. So let's do the residents. So I found this brilliant schematic. Now, I'll come back to that in a minute, actually, because that looks a bit confusing, but I'll talk through it in a minute. Claire, member for 8 months. Well done, Claire. Thank you for being a member for 8 months. So this is the house from the side. And I really like this because it kind of shows the different levels. So the front of the residence is here. This is where the parking is. And like it looks like the main door is here on this side. So this is the parking level. So it's like a basement. So there's a couple of bedrooms there on that floor, though. There's actually 2 bedrooms on each floor. So 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. The second floor is the main floor, where there's the kitchen, the living area, and 2 bedrooms on that second floor. And as you can see, there's a door out to the back. And to the back there's a yard, some trees, and then that eventually backs onto another road. There's houses all along this road here. If you look at the street view, there's houses all along here. So I think the killer would have come in the back way rather than brazenly walking up the front. I don't know. You never know. But that's kind of my guess. And then there's 2 bedrooms on the 3rd floor. Now, there's 5 people living in the house. So Ethan, the only male that was murdered, was originally said to be one of the roommates. He isn't. He wasn't one of the roommates. He was Xana's boyfriend. And Ethan just unfortunately stayed that night. He wasn't meant to be there. No, Melissa, this is what everybody's getting wrong. There were 6 people in total in the house at the time of the murders, but only 5 were residents. Right, so Ethan, the male, so these were the people who were murdered. Ethan, the male, lived nearby in another residence. Him and Xana had been out at a party, and he'd gone back with Xana. Were they freshmen or sophomores? I don't understand the American terminology in that kind of regard. We do 1st year, 2nd year, 3rd year. I don't know what that means. Is freshman 1st year? I don't know. Their ages might help. They're both 20. Ethan and Xana were both 20, and then Maddie and Kaylee were 21. There wasn't a 6th roommate, Mary. This is what I'm talking about. There was not a 6th roommate. It was originally thought to be Ethan, but Ethan did not live there, and law enforcement corrected it. I think law enforcement put it out originally. They corrected it. So the people who lived in the house were Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, Dylan, and Bethany. Dylan and Bethany survived. They slept through the whole thing. So am I clear? Yes, Ethan was a triplet. Don't get triplets involved because people get confused about that. They were like, who were the triplets? No one was a triplet. Ethan was the triplet, but the other two are not relevant to this story. So Ethan was a visitor. He was the sixth person in the house that night, but he did not live there. He was staying over with Xana. They'd been out to a party. They were staying together. Maddie and Kaylee had been out to a club or a bar. And then Dylan and Bethany had also been out, but they arrived home by 1 a.m. So they'd gone to bed by the time these guys all turned up. So these guys, it's thought that Ethan and Xana got in about 1:45, and then Maddie and Kaylee between 1:45 and 1:55. So, okay, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. So college is 4 years, is it? Most of our degrees are 3 years. Some degrees are 4 years. Anyway, all right. So roommates were Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, 3 murdered. Ethan was the visitor, also murdered. And then there was Dylan and Bethany, who were the surviving roommates who slept through the whole thing. All right. Now, this I thought was interesting. Now, I got this from Reddit, right? So make of it what you will. Someone has put this together based on the Zillow photographs. So they've just put examples of who slept where. So, for example, Xana and Ethan's bedroom, they've said is here. It could be here, couldn't it? They slept on the second floor. So they were found on the second floor. Why was Ethan alone? What do you mean, Lisa? He wasn't alone. There were 6 people in the house. He wasn't alone. Okay, so Ethan and Xana are a couple, yeah. Ethan was Xana's boyfriend. Do you think the person that was stalking the 2 girls? I don't know, Karen. I'm not sure. Possibly. We'd never know. No, he wasn't sleeping alone. He was sleeping with Xana. Presumably, he was. Unless they're right, I don't know. But presumably. So, this person who's put this together, these cameras here are the direction in which the Zillow photographs are pointing. So it's very cleverly done. It's really cleverly done. And I think for most of the photographs, I can see where it fits. It must be some kind of architect who's done this because it's really clever. But there might be some inaccuracies in it. Right? Let's be honest. There might be some inaccuracies in it. So you've got the first floor, which is the parking level, which has got 2 bedrooms. Now, Dylan and Bethany would have been sleeping in those bedrooms. Right? Is Xana's bedroom directly above the first floor bedroom? We don't know. This again, is an example that someone has put together. Unless they knew Xana personally and knew where her bedroom was, they wouldn't know if her bedroom was here or it was in the other bedroom on the floor. We know that they were on the second floor. Right? So Dylan and Bethany would have been on the first floor, on the parking level, the basement. So in there is the furnished room and a bathroom. And then you've got the stairs going up. So that's just kind of a small area. Then you've got the second floor. Not all the bathrooms are shown, obviously. No, not all the bathrooms are photographed by Zillow. So anyway, this is the main floor. So you've got that rear door that you can see, that glass door that you can see, and that goes into the kitchen. Then you've got the living area, and then you've got a bedroom. Now, Xana could have been sleeping in that bedroom. We don't know. Unless this person, and I read their post, and it didn't say, I know them personally. It didn't say that. It said, I've done this from the Zillow listing. So we don't know whether that really was where Xana was sleeping. She could have been sleeping in the back bedroom, but it's a good, I just thought this was such a good effort. It's worth, like, sometimes actually seeing it can help people visualize it. And this is probably really close to the actual layout. And then on the third floor, you've got Kaylee's bedroom and Maddie's bedroom. Now, again, we don't know, unless this person who made this diagram knew Kaylee and Maddie personally and knew which bedroom they slept in, then Maddie could have slept there and Kaylee could have slept there. But we know that they were on the third floor. Okay, so doesn't that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I'll have to slideshow this to make the Zillow listing live. This is the Zillow listing. Okay, so this person put those little cameras on the diagrams to show the show where all these things are. It's a quirky house. It's like got a lot of like strange angles. Like it's got lots of angles. Sasha says, check your PayPal when you have a chance. I certainly will. Thank you, Sasha. I certainly will. Okay, so that looks like that's the third floor. So that's one of the bedrooms, small bedroom. So either Maddie or Kayla would have been sleeping in that. Sliding doors into the kitchen. So that's the second floor. Same. Why do real estate agents, why do they take loads of photographs of a kitchen? Why do they do that? It is a cool house, Katie. Yeah. You should see the student houses in the UK. They're like, there's nothing like this. That's all I'm saying. Nothing like this. That's third floor again. So I think that's probably the other bedroom. And then that'll be third floor. So that's the bathroom, I think, because the stairs are going down. That's the laundry room. Another, I don't know what room that is. All that. It's fairly easy to tell what floor it's on when it's got a window, but you can't tell. The person was really clever. That must be on the parking level because you can see that the ground's higher. So that's on the parking level, the basement. So that was one of the bedrooms in the basement. Don't know about that one. Don't know about that one either. I think that's probably second floor. Because you can... No, that's ground floor because you can see... Or a parking floor because you can see a car. Like on a level. So that's the other bedroom. Same bedroom. Don't know about that. Parking level. So that's the same. That's the other bedroom. Balcony. So you can see this one from the balcony here. You can see the tree line. Yeah, yeah, at least they had a laundry that was not coin operated. Yeah. Did any of the victims have jobs? I don't know. I don't know about that. So you can see this is to the back. So you can see here from the balcony, you can see this tree line. Like somebody could have been waiting in those trees and certainly disappeared into those trees. So the killer might not have been expecting a male to be there. Yeah, absolutely. They might not have been. Like if they've been stalking this house of 5 girls, then no, they wouldn't have expected a male to be there. Does anybody know if they're rich kids from an elite family? Oh, I hope that's not the beginning of a conspiracy theory. I've no idea what their income levels are from the families. No idea. Okay, so you can see how easily it would be for a killer to disappear into the night, and they could have gone in any direction. So again, that's at the back. Now, even though it's a quieter part of town, there's houses all around it. So there's houses all to the front, there's houses to the side. So in my opinion, the killer had to go out back and into the trees. But if you're living in this area, then, you know, please do check any surveillance cameras you've got or anything. There's a lot of houses living in that, you know, close vicinity. There's, you know, like bigger houses, there's condos. Dylan's a female, yes. Dylan's a female. That's the yard. So look how close the trees are to the back of the property. Look at that. And that's all the photos. Just look at that. So sad. So sad. I'll share this. I'll share this simply because it had some discussion on Twitter. This is insane. This is insane. This is the level that we're up to with this case. Somebody on Instagram has called themselves the Moscow Slayer. Every case has a clown like this. Every case. No, Dylan is a female. Dylan sound like Dylan in the UK is a male name, but I guess it's a I don't know. I guess it's one of those names that can be any. So some clown on Instagram has called themselves the Moscow Slayer, but said they're a car dealership owner, retired Tier 1 Special Mission Unit, SEAL Team 6. Right, now, they started their account in October, and they were posting pictures of kittens. A kitten eating Lunchables. Exactly what goes on in their brain. I don't understand what goes on in their brain. How someone found this, I have no idea. But the only people, right? Can you see following 3 people? Who are they following? Who are the 3 people they're following? Kaylee, Maddie, and Xana. I mean, what's going on in the world here? It has been called in, like the discussion on Twitter. It has been called in to the cops, so the cops are aware about this. That's why I took screenshots of this before the account was taken down. So then they post this photo. Hold on, I have to. Thank you, Kimberly, for the $8.99. Our apartments aren't that bad, Michelle. Killer could easily have been in those trees and didn't. Yeah, I think the killer waiting in the trees and just let themselves in. They post this picture of this knife, and they It's just sick. Look, I don't think human flesh would chip or dull the edge of a blade or leave nicks. Sick. Absolutely sick. This happens in every single case. This gets targeted. This kind of stuff gets targeted towards families of missing people, families of murdered people have to read this crap. Long post here about killing. So I'm glad it's been turned in. But it's just sick. Absolutely sick. But this person wants to draw attention to themselves as a troll. Well, congratulations. There you go. You've had your 5 minutes of fame. But if they're really the killer, then they're very brazen. They're very brazen. I mean, I'm not even going to read this post. It's just all about killing, like in the name for America. It's just not good. It's not good, but if you're on Instagram, you can go and read it for yourself, unless this account gets taken down. I hope it does. But anyway, it does begin at 3 p.m. PST. It does. It begins in 23 minutes. Still can't wrap your head around how the two survivors didn't wake up. Well, honestly, if you're a deep sleeper and you're on the basement floor, if you think about how sound travels, now sound will travel in straight lines, like sound waves travel in straight lines, but in all directions, right? Now, if Sana, Kaylee and Maddie are on the 3rd floor, so somebody sleeping here, not likely to hear on the 3rd floor. Possible to hear yeah, I'm going to talk about that, Kim. Possible on this floor, but again, if you're a deep sleeper, now remember, Dylan and Bethany have been out. They've been out probably consuming alcohol. A lot of people, when they've consumed alcohol, sleep deeper. I don't personally, but some people do. And also, we're assuming that there's going to be tons of screaming. Now, if the killer was proficient at what they did and had the strength to do it, they can easily force somebody quiet easily and stab them with the other hand. I'm not going to be descriptive about it, but it is. I can understand how it's possible. Dog, yeah, it's been said the dog was found outside the home. Now, I don't know that for a fact. The dog didn't become alarmed. I don't know about the dog. Now, some dogs, maybe the dog barked, maybe it didn't. Some dogs are just scared and don't bark, like they'll run away. Like that, maybe the dog was outside because he ran away. I'm a really deep sleeper, mate. I can sleep through anything. I can sleep anywhere and I can sleep through anything. The dog could have been in the bedroom downstairs with the door closed. No, the press conference hasn't happened yet. Look at the ticker down the bottom, the banner down the bottom, 3 p.m. PST. So in 20 minutes. I've got it up in the background, don't you worry. You're not going to miss anything. Maybe the dog knew the killer. Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, the killer had to get in some way. There wasn't a break-in. There wasn't a break-in. So either one of them left that back door open, but even so, how would the killer know that door was unlocked? Like, the killer would have to be there with the intent to try the door to realize it was unlocked. And the locks wasn't a key, it was a keypad. So you put a code in. And apparently a lot of people knew the code because people went there for parties, which is another reason why Dylan and Bethany might not have woke up, because if they're used to people kind of in the house all the time, you know, in and out of the house all the time, maybe they just sleep through it. They could have had headphones in. We don't know. Do you know of the whole backyard being fenced in? No, it wasn't. I'll show you the Zillow photos again. No, it wasn't fenced in. Oh, I turned it off. I'll have to do it from the slideshow. No, it's not fenced in at all. So if you go to this, so that's on the second floor. That's coming out of the sliding doors at the back. Look, no fence. That's the tree line. Straight into the trees. I mean, they only had to go, what, a handful of yards? Sliding door, there we go. Sliding doors, yeah. I mean, look, you can see. Look. Trees all the way around. Really close. I mean, absolutely no problem whatsoever slipping out into the night without being seen by anybody. But I'll show you this. I think I've got time to show you this before the press conference. I saved it on my profile. So this was on Fox News. What is it doing here? I just want to play you a couple of minutes. Now, this is from, you're not missing anything by this guy talking. This is Kaylee's mother and father talking. Now, the whole thing is 14 minutes, but I just want to listen. I just want you to listen to a couple of minutes of this. So let me just put the sound on here. Why is it not letting me put the sound on? Why has it done that? Why has it done that? Why is it frozen? Why is it not letting me move anywhere? Well, there we go. I got it.
With us this whole time. Yeah, she was driven and she was going to go somewhere in life, and a great member of society, and that's what we wanted.
Yeah, y'all have to be so proud of her that she was taken away from us far too soon. Can you tell us what the authorities have been telling you? We want to do it.
Air draft, Fox News. Well, it must be factual. Well, this is Kaylee's mother and father, so I don't know what to tell you. If you think that they've come on telling lies, I don't know what to tell you. Fair use banner, I don't have one. You don't need one. People misunderstand fair use. Any use for criticism, commentary, education, clips of the news, you can use under fair use. You don't need their permission. And they'll copyright claim it anyway, because that's what Fox News always does. It doesn't matter if you play 30 seconds, they will copyright claim the whole video. So if they copyright claim it, the people on the replay won't see this, because I'll just edit out the couple of minutes that I'm putting in. That's why I'm not playing the whole interview. So it doesn't matter if I say fair use, they won't listen. Doesn't matter. They won't listen. They'll copyright claim it. And then I'll just delete it out, so they won't get any money anyway. So we play this cat and mouse game, me and Fox News. There's a few actual news outlets that do it. We play this game. All right. just a couple more minutes, and then we'll put the press conference on.
Anything that we can to help you to get justice for your daughter and the rest of the victims, what are they telling you?
They're telling us that there's so much evidence that it's going to take a lot of time to process it all. This wasn't like a pinpoint crime. This person was sloppy. He did whatever. When I say he, obviously you can't say that. That's just me. But he made a mess, and there's a mess there, and they're going to have to go through that point by point, and that's going to take a lot of time. That's why they reached out to other facilities to help them with that lab work.
They do have a mobile unit on site that they said that they're able to really expedite things with this mobile unit. Hopefully, they're reaching out to other DNA processing type companies such as like 23andMe to get involved. They have not confirmed that they have DNA from this person. They just said that they have a ton of evidence. And evidently today with the new task force, the new FBI task force on site, and the FBI, of course, and Idaho State Police, they said that they were able to pull a ton of evidence from the house today.
Yeah.
And they're processing that.
So
It just takes time.
yeah, we've only heard positive stories about.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to play. So Fox News, do your worst, copyright claim me. I'll just delete that 2 minutes and you won't get any money, whatever. We'll play the game. So that was Kaylee's mother and father speaking. They were also speaking on behalf of Maddie's family. Maddie's family don't wish to be interviewed. They're grieving in their own way. But they've given permission for Kaylee's family to speak on behalf of Maddie as well as Kaylee. So I thought that was really interesting that the police have told them that they've got a ton of evidence from the house, a ton of evidence. Now, they don't know specifically if they've got DNA. DNA won't help them quickly, at least, unless it's unless they've been arrested previously or they've got convictions. If they've got no record, it's not going to help them immediately because CODIS won't have a record of them. But they don't know what evidence particularly, but they just know that the person left a lot of evidence behind. Now, if you look at some of the pictures that are being posted from the let's see which is the best hashtag. Is that one I found? There's been a ton of little videos, and probably won't be able to find any now, but there's been a ton posted today. What's this? That's new. The other thing that somebody brought up in chat, and I will mention, that earlier on, I think it was the beginning of September, there was a report on the university campus of somebody with a knife had kind of approached people with a knife. That's Xana's cousin taking flyers door to door. And then a neighbour, I don't know how close they were to the property, but somebody in the area reported that the dog had been killed, but not just killed, had actually been skinned. I mean, that's just horrendous. So whether either of those things is related to this is anybody's guess. But those are the things that have been reported. So they were checking cars. They've gone through cars today, but most of the cars haven't moved. What I find interesting is that a week later, they're still in the house. There's a whole new team, a whole new forensic team who've been back the last couple of days. And they're literally going through with a fine-tooth comb on the inside and on the outside. They're still going on about him. He's not, I don't know what to tell you. This looks like a person watching them. Does it? I don't know. I can't. We're getting to that stage now in the case. Trolls and people. Okay, this is interesting. So what this person reported was, so this is one of the reporters on scene. I just watched 2 investigators walk all around the backyard of the house where the 4 University of Idaho students were killed 1 week ago. They took a lap around a nearby apartment complex, walked down the police tape to the fence, then made a phone call. Thank you, Pottermouse, for the £5. Me and the missus are big fans. She's nagging me to ask what VPN you use and what, because we are in the UK. Surfshark. Christina, member for 2 months. Thanks for staying up to share. Oh, well, I was going to have to watch it anyway, wasn't I? So yeah. Walked all around the backyard, then took a lap around a nearby apartment complex, walked down the police tape to the fence, and then made a phone call. But there's police tape all kind of not just around the property, but around kind of a side as well. And I saw Jennifer Coffendaffer reply to this, one of the shares, and she said, oh, that's significant, like where they've put the police tape is obviously where they're particularly looking. So it's interesting whether they found footprints, maybe. Don't know, but thought it was interesting. There was a few more things shared as well, but we'll put the presser on. I'm actually going to share it a different way so I can mute out, and then you won't hear the cat in the background while the press conference is on. Hold on a minute. Just get rid of that. Save. All right, so just share it in a different way. I've just closed all my windows. Let me get it back. Here we are. Here we are. Right. The cat's outside my door. I've closed the door to this room. The cat's outside meowing now. All right, so that's up, and this is being streamed by the University of Idaho. Hopefully they don't copyright claim. But if you want to watch it direct from the University of Idaho, there's the link. I've also put the link, I think, in the description box of this video. If I've forgotten to, then I'll put it in after. But I won't be offended if you sign off this stream and go and watch it directly from them. They don't have a chat, though. They've disabled their chat. So if you want to chat while this is on, then stay right here. Thank you, Joshua, for the $10. That's very kind. The remark was made that the killer was very sloppy. Yeah. Now, whether that's because they've never done this kind of thing before, like they're not a seasoned criminal, or that they were in such a rage, such a frenzied rage, that they did that just all common sense went out of their head, we can only speculate. But it's great when criminals are dumb because they get caught quicker. When criminals take lots and lots of precautions, then that's what creates the problem, isn't it? Maybe first kill. Yeah, Juju. Maybe first kill. Reckon a dealer. Okay. Everybody's a suspect now because we don't have enough info yet. Well, that's not true. That's not true. Not everybody is a suspect. Law enforcement have said that they don't believe that the 2 surviving roommates had anything to do with it. They said they don't believe that hoodie guy, so the guy who spoke to Kaylee and Maddie at the food truck, has anything to do with it. And they don't feel that the cab driver who brought them home had anything to do with it. Everything else is up in the air. Now, it doesn't mean to say just because they've said that they won't rule someone back in. Doesn't mean that. They've just kind of, I guess, been telling us as much as they can. And I'm glad they have, because when they say nothing at all, I mean, we've seen this in the Summer Wells case. Do rage killers plan it out? More likely strike out in the heat of the moment. Either or. It depends what you mean by rage killer. Somebody who just sees red and kind of, you know, colloquially we call that a crime of passion. They see red because they catch the partner in bed with someone and they just strike out, then that's a rage. But somebody who has got a rage, a built-up rage about the world or about something or about a person, they will plan it. They will plan it. But it doesn't mean to say that they're not a rubbish criminal. They might be a really bad criminal because they're just not that bright. I don't understand forensics. A-drafts what? Who said that? Direct from cops? Yes. So if you mean don't have reason to believe that the people that I've just said are involved, yes, directly from the cops. Directly, 100% from the cops. I'll share their Facebook profile and you can read it for yourself. I've read it on streams. I've been reading it on streams. I've actually read them several times. There's the Facebook profile. That's the City of Moscow Police Department. There you go. You can read them for yourself. So they don't believe that the roommates are involved. They don't believe hoodie guy's involved. And they don't believe that the cab driver is involved. Having said that, here we go. Right, I'm going to mute out, guys. All right, I'll turn it up. Right, I'm going to mute out, so I'll see you after this conference.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Chief James Fry with the Moscow Police Department. The last spelling of my name is F-R-Y. I'd like to introduce Moscow Police Captain Roger Lanier, Colonel Kedrick Wells of the Idaho State Police, University of Idaho President Scott Green, Dean of Students for the University of Idaho, Blaine Eccles, and Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson. This incident has shaken our community, has continued to shake our community, and we continue to mourn for the victims. We will continue to vigorously pursue the investigation and pursue justice in this case. It is a complex and terrible crime, and it will take some time to resolve. Today, we want to clarify what we know and where we're at in this investigation. Our primary goal is public safety and to get a completion of this case and bring someone to justice. We continue to dedicate all the resources to this investigation. We've had 646 tips received, and all will be processed, vetted, investigated, and cleared. We've done over 90 interviews in this case so far, and the Moscow Police Department is utilizing the assistance from the Idaho State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Latah County Sheriff's Office. The personnel that has been assigned to this from the Moscow Police Department is 4 detectives, 24 officers, and 5 support staff. Federal Bureau of Investigators. We have 22 investigators in Moscow. 20 additional are assigned and located in the Treasure Valley, Salt Lake City, Utah, and West Virginia. We have 2 behavior analysis individuals from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. For the Idaho State Police, we have 20 investigators, a public information officer, ISP forensic services, and a crime scene team. We have 15 uniformed troopers to assist our community to help provide the additional resources for our patrols. Detectives are looking to develop any content that would help us in this event. Anyone who has observed any notable behavior or has any video surveillance or can provide relevant information about these murders, please call our tip line at 208-883-7180. Or you can email the tip line and that is tipline@ci.moscow.id.us. At this time, I would like to introduce Captain Lanier to give you some additional information.
Good afternoon. My name is Roger Lanier. I'm a captain over the operations division for the Moscow Police Department. My last name is spelled Lanier. I just want to first state that this tragic murder has shaken the community. It's been very hard for members of the community, and it's been equally difficult for our officers and for the investigators. We will continue to put all of our resources towards investigating and bringing this to a resolution. Here's what we've determined so far. On the evening of November 12th, Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mulligan were at a local bar and were later at a food truck in downtown Moscow. They arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. on the morning of November 13th. Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were at the Sigma Chi house before also arriving home at approximately 1:45 a.m. 2 surviving roommates were also out in the community, and they returned home at approximately 1 a.m. and did not wake up until later that morning. On the morning of November 13th at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed to the Whitcomb Dispatch Center reporting an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence and was made from the phone of one of the surviving roommates. Moscow Police Department officers responded and located 4 victims, 2 on the 2nd floor and 2 on the 3rd floor. The Latah County coroners conducted autopsies, and detectives have been provided with the results of those autopsies. We know that the autopsies confirmed the identity of the 4 victims, determined the cause and manner of death as a homicide by stabbing, and determined that it was likely all 4 victims who were asleep during the attack. Some of the victims had defensive wounds, and each victim was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of sexual assault. Investigators have determined 2 areas of interest within the city and have provided maps which are on our Facebook page and on our website. And these are areas that they have canvassed for additional surveillance video and tips and have contacted several residents in the areas. The areas are generally south of Taylor Avenue to Palouse River Drive and west of Highway 95. Detectives have also canvassed several other neighborhoods looking for evidence, looking for additional surveillance video, and contacting residents and speaking to them to see if they may have heard or seen something. I want to address several areas of speculation, conjecture, and misinformation that has circulated on social media platforms and otherwise. We do not believe the following individuals are involved in this crime: the 2 surviving roommates, a male seen at the grub truck food vendor downtown, specifically wearing a white hoodie, a private party who provided rides home to Kaylee and Madison in the early morning hour of November 13th. Additionally, the identity of the 911 caller and the 911 call have not been released. So any information out there is speculation about that. Investigators are aware that multiple phone calls from Madison and Kaylee's phone were made to a male subject. Any online reports stating that the victims had been tied and gagged are not accurate. Detectives seized the contents of 3 dumpsters on King Road and searched those dumpsters in an effort to find additional evidence, but nothing of note was discovered. Early in the investigation, local businesses were canvassed in an effort to see if any fixed blade type knives may have recently been purchased. And currently, there are no suspects in custody, and we have not located a weapon. I want to assure you that every investigator involved will continue to put all of their resources and all of our partner agencies' resources into continuing this investigation. We do appreciate the community's support. We understand how stressful it is, and we will continue to work through this situation. At this time, I would like to turn the mic over to Colonel Wills from the Idaho State Police.
Thank you, Captain. My name is Kedrick Wills, KEDRICKWILLS, and I serve as the Director of the Idaho State Police. And I appreciate your attendance this afternoon as we talk about this horrific, horrific crime. The murders of Ethan, Xana, Madison, and Kaylee are a tragic loss to all of us. Nothing we can do will bring back these young lives. But we have an absolute commitment to working together to solve these senseless murders. And the way that we know how to do that is partnerships. And our partnership with the Moscow Police Department, with the Idaho State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the University of Idaho to bring this issue to a conclusion and bring this to justice is absolute. We continue with Idaho State Police resources here on the ground in Moscow and throughout Idaho. Whatever the needs are, that's what we want to do. And the chief spoke about the Idaho State Police resources that are here, and he spoke about patrol resources. And we have those uniformed troopers here in Moscow and on the campus of the University of Idaho to help people to feel safe and to provide that security to the people that are here, both in the student body as well as in the community at large. And we will continue to do that as long as is necessary throughout this time. In addition, that's in addition to our forensics team that was here, in addition to our investigative team and all the other state police resources. We know that people want answers. We want answers too. As was already mentioned, this is really, really difficult for those investigators, those dedicated professionals who are investigating this crime. And a lot of people have expressed their desire to help. And the best thing that most of people can do to help is to stop with any kind of rumors and just seek official information that comes out of the Moscow Police Department. Anything that we have that we can share from a law enforcement perspective, we will be sharing just as soon as we can, because that's how we think that we can get this to conclusion. Please rely on official sources of information, and please be patient. I understand that everybody wishes that this was solved already, but these things take time. It takes time to work through. You heard the stats of all the tips and everything, the interviews and everything that's been done. This takes time for our investigators to work through. So please be patient as we work through this investigation. We owe this to these young kids, to these young adults. We owe it to them. And we are absolutely dedicated to make sure that that happens. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce the University of Idaho President President Scott Green.
Scott Green, President, University of Idaho. Last name spelled Green, like the color. First, we continue to extend our heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of the victims. As stated earlier, we want justice and appreciate the increased resources from the Idaho State Police and FBI that have been brought to bear on this crime. We fully appreciate and share the frustration of our students, employees, parents, and community members who continue to push for answers. While we wait for answers in the investigation, we've ramped up our security safety practices and are listening to students and supporting them in any way possible. The University of Idaho's primary focus now is on supporting our students and working to meet their varied needs. The police continue to inform us that they believe this was a targeted attack, but we recognize this is not good enough for some of our students who will want to complete their semester remotely until the person who committed the crime is in custody. We are also hearing that some students want to be back on campus and in Moscow because they gain comfort from the structure of classes and being with their friends and professors. All reactions and feelings are valid, and we all process these tragedies differently. We're asking instructors to plan for both sets of students as we finish the semester. We will be communicating decisions early this week so that families can discuss and plan their individual response over the Thanksgiving break. We learned a lot during COVID, and we have many course delivery options our faculty can deploy to meet student needs. Student and employee safety remain our priority. We have increased security patrols on campus since we were notified of this off-campus incident. We've also benefited from increased Idaho State Police presence on our campus, which we are grateful for. They have been a very visible force, and they will continue this dedicated presence on our campus into the foreseeable future. Importantly, they have also assigned resources to the community since this crime occurred off campus. In addition to the campus-wide precautions being taken, we offer the following safety and security features in our residence halls. We will continue our Safe Walk, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All residence halls are locked 24 hours a day and only accessible by students that live in the building. All guests must be accompanied by a resident of the building. Each residential community has a dedicated resident assistant staff and a live-in full-time resident director to help ensure a safe environment. Every evening, there are resident assistants that are on duty to perform safety and security rounds in their area, including during fall break. Housing and Resident Life always has at least 2 full-time staff members that are on call to provide support and emergency response 24 hours a day, including over the fall break. And our Learning Center Information Desk Living and Learning Center Information Desk is open 24 hours a day and will be open all of fall break for our students' needs. While we certainly hope there's a swift closure with the arrest of whoever is responsible for this crime, we must also be prepared for all the possibilities, including a lengthy investigation. We must balance safety concerns and the need to grieve, along with the long-term needs of our students and our employees. We're making security our top priority. We are also planning for the very real possibility that some students aren't comfortable returning to campus. We will do our best to meet the needs of all students. Our faculty is working hard over the break to consider alternative delivery methods. We will also continue making counseling services available for all our students and employees as we process our grief. The care and concern for our Vandal family is our primary role, and we take that very seriously. We are a Vandal family. Nothing means more to us than family. And I'd also like to just thank all those for the great outpouring of support we've received from the nation. It's been incredible time, and all those who stand in solidarity with us, just know it means a great deal to us. Thank you.
So we're going to open it up at this time to about 8 to 10 questions. We ask that only 1 question is asked per person, please. And I would also like to just see if there's an Argonaut reporter here. I think it's only fair to give our student reporter the first shot.
Speak up if you're in the room, if you're from the Argonauts.
Mayor,
Are you from the Argonauts?
are you from the University of Idaho Argonaut? Is anybody from the University of Idaho Argonaut? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Ted Williams, Fox News. You all have said that these killings are targeted. Can you share with us why you believe they are targeted killings? And do you know who, if any, of the victims were the actual targets of the killings?
As we stated earlier in the previous press release, or press conference, we believe they're targeted because we take a totality of all the circumstances that we're looking at. Do we know any one person that it was targeted? We're not able to say at this point in time due to our investigation, but we still believe that. But we, like I said, we take a totality of everything that we're looking at.
Chief Glenn Mosley, Idaho Public Radio here in Moscow. On the resources, do you have the resources that you need?
We do have the resources. It is an incredible outpouring of what we receive from the Idaho State Police and from the Federal Bureau of Investigations and Latah County. Anything we ask for is given. So at any time, if we need additional, all I have to do is call the colonel, and he will provide that. He's already guaranteed me that, and I know the FBI has said the same thing.
Hi, Emma Epperly from the Spokesman Review. I know you've said you're not going to release who the 911 caller was, but was the killer the 911 caller?
I will tell you no.
Can you clarify, you said it was made from the roommate's phone, but you didn't say the roommate made the call. So did the roommate make the call on the roommate's phone, or can you verify that another individual made the call?
Actually, if we could just go to this one first. And
Well, it's the follow-up. That's why I wanted to.
so what I'll say to that is it was made from the roommate's call or phone, excuse me. And we're not going to divulge who made that call it's part of our investigation still. And when we get ready to release that, we will.
Hi, Christina Corbin with Fox News. The male subject whom the women called, has he been ruled out as a suspect or person of interest?
Everything that we have taken from those calls, we have followed up on, we've cleared, and we believe that there's no connection there.
Gotti Schwartz, NBC News. Just following up on the 911 call, you said that you don't believe that's the killer. Can you conclusively rule out the person that called 911 from inside the home as a suspect in this case?
Can you go ahead and just ask that one more time, please?
The person that was inside the home that called 911 that was not one of the roommates. Can you conclusively rule that person out as a suspect at this point?
I don't think I said that it wasn't one of the roommates. I said that it was used with the roommate's phone.
I believe somebody asked if that was the killer and you said no.
No, that's correct.
Was there someone there other than the two roommates when police responded to the home?
So will you clarify that for me?
You're not confirming a roommate called 911, but they used the roommate's phone. So was there someone else at the home other than those two roommates?
There was other friends that had arrived at the location.
How many? Everybody made it home.
Honestly, I'm not quite sure at this time, to be quite honest.
Do you guys have any idea if the killer's still within the community, or are you looking outside the community for the killer in terms of their physical location?
We are looking everywhere that evidence would lead us. I can't say if the person's here. I can't say what community the person's in. We're utilizing every resource we can to make that location of that individual. And part of that is the safety of our community is paramount. And that's why we brought in the resource that we brought in to keep our community as safe as we can.
Being so close to the border, does that make it kind of automatically an interstate investigation? Can you comment on that?
I cannot comment on that. I'm not even aware.
If you look in Washington at all, I guess,
We're looking everywhere. I'm going to take two more questions.
Do you still believe this attack was done by one perpetrator? And if so,
How does one individual kill 4 people at night and not wake up the other 2 roommates?
Our investigation will continue to look at all avenues of that investigation. I cannot disclose any of that information. I don't even know that information at this point in time, and that's why we're continuing to investigate.
You don't know how this happened without the other 2 roommates hearing it or waking up or noticing?
We do not. One more question.
Hi, Angela Palermo, Idaho Statesman. In the press release yesterday, you confirmed that the victims were found on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the home. Can you say which of the victims were found where?
I'm not going to go ahead and disclose that information. They were found on the 2nd and 3rd floor. And that's as far as we're going to go with that part of the investigation too, because all those key pieces do come to play later. So we do thank you. We thank you for meeting with us. We thank you for helping get information out. And I can assure you, we will continue to work hard. We will continue to do everything we can to solve this. So thank you.
Is this related to any animal mutilation?
Are you in the toxicology report?
In terms of etymology, do you think that it might be connected?
Okay. Wow. I always find the questions portion of press conferences the most interesting. We got a bit rowdy at the end there, the journalists. What do you think? I know there's some people being a little bit negative in there towards law enforcement. Look, guys, if you follow true crime and you follow a lot of cases, you realize that they can't say too much during an active investigation because you can't have. So we've got interesting, and then directly under it we've got a waste of time. Anyway, they can't say too much because they can't tip off a killer. They can't start giving them key pieces of information just to please us, the public or the media. They can't, guys. Come on. We all want to know everything. We do. But we don't want the killer to know those things, do we? And also, if that killer's caught and they give away a lot of information that proves to be really important to the justice process, and they've already given it away, it can ultimately, worst case scenario, result in a mistrial. We don't want that either, do we? So I'd rather law enforcement clarify what they can clarify, keep in regular contact with people, because we've all seen, if you've been following the Summer Wells case, you'll see what happens when law enforcement just goes radio silent for months on end and refuses to say who they've cleared and who they haven't cleared, right? That's where rumors, speculation, conspiracy theories and everything hits the internet, right? But law enforcement have got to, I'd rather they err on the side of caution than tell us too much for the reasons I've just stated. But they've been really good so far, right? And I reserve the right to change my opinion at any time. I say they've been really good so far at clarifying what they can clarify. So, you know, if you're saying that you don't think they're trying hard enough, that's not true. That's not true. There's been journalists outside that house for the last week. Just look on Twitter how much the reporters who've been standing there have been tweeting and have been taking videos of the forensic teams. The forensic teams have been there for a whole week. both inside and outside. They've gone through that house with a fine tooth comb. And today they were doing tests outside. So I can't understand why people think that they're not doing anything. It's not true. It's not true. But they have to remain calm. Like they have to put on this air of calmness, because what they don't want to do is agitate the public anymore. I mean, clearly the student body are going to be terrified. So, you know, it's a public relations nightmare for the University of Idaho. Having worked at universities myself, I know exactly how, and in the UK, not in the US, Miss Enigma members for 3 months. Please become a member, says Miss Enigma. Please do. You know, having worked in universities, I know how they don't like negative publicity of any kind whatsoever. So the whole world is looking at the University of Idaho. So the university has to remain calm, but the police have to remain calm to keep everybody else as calm as they can be. So I don't know what to tell you. You know, at the moment, I think they're doing everything they can do, but it is going to be a long process. So you've got to think that DNA testing, the killer will have left DNA at the scene, but they have to determine the only DNA that's going to be important is the DNA that's actually on the victims' bodies. When the victims are taken away, they'll wrap their hands. They'll actually wrap up their hands, and then they'll take swabs from underneath their fingernails, because some of the victims had defensive wounds. So if you're fighting for your life, you're going to be scratching and clawing and punching, and you get the offender's DNA under your nails, unless they're as short as mine, and then you probably won't. But they swab under the nails. Now, that DNA is going to be really important, because how many people do you actually get close to get DNA under your nails? And if more than one victim has the same DNA under their nails, that's very good circumstantial evidence. DNA being found at the scene itself, less important, because there could be any number of people in and out of that house, because it's 5 students living together. They're going to be having parties and so on. So that's less. A defense attorney would just throw that away and say, well, my client went there for a party once, that's why his or her DNA is still there. Same fingernails. A defense attorney would say, yeah, my client went there for a party. So yeah, they got the fingernails on the door handle, or the window, or that countertop, or whatever. So you got to think critically, and think like an investigator would. So there's that. But the family, the parents of Kaylee, spoke today and said that the killer had been sloppy, and they'd left a lot of evidence at the scene. So we wait. Now, some of the questions that were asked, as I said, I think that the questions are often the most interesting part. And people tend to log off, you know, when the main part has been over, they log off. They don't listen to the most important bit. What you want to hear is how they answer questions, not what they say, but how they answer it. So they've clarified that they don't think Jack is connected. So we've now got 2 surviving roommates not thought connected. Hoodie guy not thought connected, the cab driver not thought connected, and now we've got Jack that they don't think is a connection. and there was some confusion. I had to listen very carefully, so I may have got this wrong, but I think what he said was that the person who made the 911 call was thought not to be the killer. Now, the journalists were confused about that. They had to re-ask it. So I think I've got it right. They think that the 911 call came from a friend of the roommates. So they were inside. So roommates wake up. Now, I have heard, and this could turn out to be the truth, I have heard that one of the roommates rang someone to bring her food. So she doesn't bother getting out of her room. She rings a friend saying, will you come round? Friend comes round, brings her some food. And then, I don't know. I mean, look, the place is going to the place is going to be trashed, isn't it? The place is going to be trashed. But maybe only the bedrooms were trashed. So we don't know. But yeah, it could be a neighbour. Could be anybody, honestly. There's 25,000 people in Moscow. Now, I don't know how many of them are students and how many are actual non-student residents. I haven't looked into the numbers of Moscow, Idaho that closely, but it's a reasonable sized town, and it could be a student, it could be a neighbor, it could be somebody who only has a loose connection to the murder victims. Could be anybody with a loose connection or a grudge. We don't know. And somebody who's been stalking them, whether even they might not even know somebody was. I think personally, I think it's someone close to them. Personally, I think it's someone who's been in that house before. I don't think it's somebody who's targeted just one person. Simply because if they were just targeting one person, why would they kill 4? I don't get that. Unless that person started off with one person and then other people got involved. I don't know. That I'm getting into the realms of probably too much speculation. There was mention of a stalker. Yeah, a couple of months ago, Cassie had a stalker, allegedly. Now, this could be something that was over very quickly. Could be somebody with hidden rage against that and thought that, bigged it up in their mind so much that they thought the whole set of housemates was against them. Who knows? Who knows? But it could be something. Where did I hear it? I think it was on Court TV. I could be wrong, but they were interviewing. Do you watch Court TV? And I like Vinnie Politan's show, and he has his think tanks on. What's his name? Mike King from Profiling Evil is sometimes on the think tank, but Vinnie Politan had a think tank, and it was some lawyers. I'm sure it was Vinnie Politan. Anyway, the question was, who do you think could have done this? And one of the responses, I'd never thought of it before, an initiation into a gang. I never thought of that. I thought that was interesting because I don't know how bad the gang violence. Thank you, Miss Enigma. That's very, very generous. $79.99 Australian dollars for membership gifting, please, as I can't do it from my phone. I will save that. I will save that for membership gifting. I certainly will. If we get 1,000 likes, I'll gift some memberships tonight. If we don't get to 1,000 likes, then maybe next time I'll get 1,000 likes and then I'll give some memberships. It's up to you guys. We've got a ways to go, so I don't think it's going to be tonight. I don't think it's going to be tonight. But there is 1,100 people in the stream still, so if you fancy getting a free membership for a month, then, and you've not liked the stream, unfortunately you can't like it twice. But we've got 814 now. It's going up. It's going up. If it reaches 1,000, I'll give some memberships away. So thank you, Miss Enigma. Let's see how it goes. If it's not tonight, then it could be next time. Who's the owner of the house? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question, actually. But yeah, I don't know what the gang violence is like around there, but there's gangs everywhere. There's gangs everywhere. So I just thought that was an interesting speculation, that an initiation into a gang. You know, somebody who has got, it's a big initiation, that though. It's a big initiation. But who knows? Anything's to play at this stage. I think it's more personal than that, honestly. I think it's something that I think those people knew who that person was. At least, you know, may not be a best buddy, but somebody that they knew. Somebody at least who's been to that house before. I know a few people have mentioned, is it the landlord? It's not a good business because who's gonna want to rent that house again in the future? That's not good business sense. It really isn't. If you don't like your tenants, then you evict them. You don't massacre them. Imagine the cleanup. I mean, come on. I don't know. I mean, anything's possible. Okay, so the owner of the house, says Karen, Texas. Don't go and badger this person, please, whoever is going to do this. I have to say that. The owner of the house is Dan Etsy Limited. Dan Etsy Limited. Okay. Be very bad business sense if Dan Etsy Limited went and did that. 927 likes. Getting close. Getting close. Coroner said there was blood everywhere. Yeah. Hope you feel better soon, Hope. Got any headache? Yeah, I suffer from those occasionally. Not good, are they? A thumbs up again if I could. I know, but you can only do it once. 935, 36. Whilst we're waiting to see if we hit the big 1K, I just want to have a look on Twitter and see if there's anything new being said. That's not Twitter, that's Facebook. 911 caller was not the killer. Let's have a look what's being said on Twitter. Yeah, a lot of people seem hung up on the fact that the housemate slept through. I don't think that's unusual at all. I really don't. I think young people will sleep through anything. It's maybe stereotyping. Allegedly, it's the case that young people sleep more deeply than older people. I don't know. I can sleep anywhere, and I'm old. When my kids were babies, I used to sleep like any slight sound woke me up. But now, literally, the house could fall down and I wouldn't wake up. I wouldn't wake up until it was time to wake up. So, I don't know. I don't know. Were drugs involved? Don't know. 967. Come on, guys. Not far to go. There are others staying over at the house on the first floor. One of them committed the attack, then call 911. Well, that's not what law enforcement said. They said they don't think that's the case. But anything, we don't know. We don't know. Can only go off what we're told at this stage. Is there anything new that's been released? Yes. Thank you, Heather, for the $19.99. That's very kind of you. Very kind of you. I hope I've not missed any others whilst the press conference was on. If I have missed a super chat or a super sticker, please forgive me, because I was focusing on the press conference. I wasn't watching the chat over on the other screen. I was focusing. So I have such bad attention span. Jolene, welcome to the Secret Agents Club. Welcome, welcome. Just 12 more, guys. Surely there's 12 more likes to be had from this stream. 11 more. That's all we need. We know Jack is not connected. We know, although slightly confused, we know that the 911 caller wasn't the killer. I think those are important details before the internet goes crazy. You know, badgering Jack. Come on, guys. Please don't. State police official may have slipped verbiage or accidentally leaked 2 or more. I saw it in. Oh, did you see that? I'm going to have to listen it back. Did he slip? 1K! 1K, we did it, guys. We did it, guys and girls. We did it. All right. So I'm going to be spending Miss Enigma's money here. All right. So let's have a look. I have to buy memberships in membership gifting. Okay, so I can buy 1, 5, 10, 20 or 50. I think for 1K likes, it's got to be 20 memberships, I think. If I got to like 10K likes, I might give 50 memberships away, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. So 20 memberships it is. All right, so let's get the old credit card information on the screen here. Right, buy. Got the spinning wheel of death coming here. There we go. 20 memberships. So this is, so let me see. Rando Forever, Heather Feather, Burlington Park. Oh, it's going too fast. Sally, Gelsey, Crotchet Mama, I'm rubbish at names. Brianna, Mary Clark. Who else? Pasha Bell, Truth D, Serene, Mary, Angela. It's gone. I've lost it all now. Susan, Pink Fan, Canadian S, Natasha, Terry, Beth, Sherbear. I think that's it. So how that works is, thank you, Miss Enigma, for paying for those. How that works, Mommy of Hamsters, member for 5 months. Love this channel. Thank you, Mommy of Hamsters. How this works is I don't choose who gets the memberships. I just pay for them. You can pay for them as well. If you see the little $sign at the bottom, I know some devices you can't do it on, but if you see the $sign where you do super chats and super stickers, if you click on that, it gives you the option to gift memberships. So it obviously helps the channel, but it also helps other people in the chat as well. So how it works is YouTube chooses based on however YouTube chooses. And then I think it's based on engagement or something. And then you get a free membership for 1 month. After that, it just goes away. It doesn't like carry on every month. It just goes away. Obviously, you can pay to renew it if you want to, but it just goes away. So there is a members area. Have a look at the members tab, and you can see there's a few live streams. There's a few small videos. And I've got 2 members lives planned that I just haven't had a chance to do yet. So, because things keep happening that means I don't get a chance. Katie, welcome to the Secret Agents Club. So we've got a lot of new members tonight. That's good. That's good, good, good. Okay, so I'm going to sign off in a minute, but just want to finish my thought on this. So, state police official may have slipped verbiage or accidentally linked 2 or more or sought in Idaho homicide. I didn't catch that. I'm going to say I didn't catch that. Did he? Did he leak something? I'm going to have to listen to it again. Okay. Did sleep studies find younger people are generally sleep more soundly. 1 young man slept through a fire alarm with flashing lights and sirens. Maybe because they've not got a lot to worry about. So they've got to sleep, and they're growing. Brains are growing, brains are developing. I can't replay it any louder. My volume's as loud as it will go. I'm sorry. If you watch it back on the replay, you should be able to put closed captions on. So I don't know. I'm going to have to go and re-listen and see whether there was a slip or not. But I am going to call it a day. Been on here for nearly 2 hours. So let's see what tomorrow brings. Let's see what tomorrow brings. I'll be back with a live if there's any significant updates. If not, it will just be the regular video on this channel. But we'll wait and see, because actually there will be a live. There will be a live tomorrow because Sarah Wanderer's in court in the Michael Vaughan case. It's a status hearing tomorrow. So there will be a live. So look out for the scheduler. I can't remember whether she's in court 9 a.m. Mountain Time or 10 a.m. I'm gonna have to work on that. I'm going to find out. So unsolved cases and news became a member. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Secret Agents Club. Members also get some emojis to use as well, like custom emojis to use in the chats, but you can also use them in the comment section as well to videos. So I'll see you tomorrow. So thank you for all the super chats and super stickers. Thanks for keeping it classy in the comment section. Thank you to the moderators as always, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye guys.